The Howard Stern Show.
I'm always endlessly fascinated by the fact that you're the drummer in the Beach Boys, which I think is so fucking awesome.
Well, we've never really talked about that.
Yeah, but you know what's so awesome about it?
Yes.
Like anybody who would like say, "Oh, Stamos, he's an actor," and this and that.
He's a pretty boy.
I mean, the fact is, you've got this other dimension to you that you're actually a professional musician. Like people, that to me is more impressive than anything.
Well,
hanging with the Beach Boys are legendary.
They are. I grew up. They were my whoever was to you. Who was your guy?
The Beatles.
The Beatles. It'd be like playing with the Beatles. I mean, it really is for me. And it's been an interesting deal because I sort of weaseled my way in there. I knew the guitar player, and
but you can't. Well, you had to audition,
you
right?
still have to be good.
Well, they weren't. Dennis Wilson had died in '83, I think, 3 or 4. Their drummer, who was bitching, and I just sort of. I really can't figure out how it happened, but I was hanging out with them, and at the time, there was a lot of musicians on stage in a couple different camps, the Wilson camp and the Love camp, and
there's so many battles within that band.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking story.
It really is.
Did you see the Brian Wilson movie?
Yeah, it's so complicated, that band. They just can't get it together.
But their music is so
brilliant,
beautiful, and changed the world. I mean, the whole the world used to think of all the stuff that they were singing about was what people thought of the United States, basically, and certainly California.
Yeah,
right.
Happy times, and the whole world. In the '60s, the whole world wanted to be like us because some of the stuff we were throwing out there, certainly with the Beach Boys.
You know what's amazing about you? Every guy wants to hate you.
Yeah.
Like I experienced this when I first met you. I wanted to hate you because you're so fucking handsome. And then you turn out to be a good dude. It kind of blows things, for the rest of us.
Oh, good parents.
You're a good dude.
The Beach Boys. I was going to say, so I started playing, and one of the first times I played was in '85 at the Washington Monument.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a second. How does that come about?
Right. Well, I don't know.
Do you say to them, guys, I can play the drums and let me sit in?
So they let me sit in like to play Bob Moran or one of those songs at the end.
Was it as a goof? Like they're like, hey, here's TV's John Stamos, and he's going to sit in for a song?
Sort of.
Did they try, like you could have fucked it up, right? Because they didn't know what kind of drummer you were.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they had they always had 2 drummers.
Right.
So Dennis Wilson, sometimes he was unpredictable, so they'd have another drummer there.
Right.
And so they were used to 2 drum sets. So it started out like that, with just basically playing.
So if you had been bad or a joke, the other drummer would have carried it, and it would have been kind of
and they
just
could turn
funny.
the mics down, and that would be that.
And why did they allow you even up on the stage? You kept saying, hey, I can play the drums, let me up with you?
Sort of, and I was a celebrity, and,
Right.
and the stage is very loose. It still is. I mean, they bring people from the audience, and wives, and kids, and stuff, so it's
Right.
kind of a party atmosphere on stage sometimes. Sometimes it wasn't. I mean, this is starting in almost 30 years ago, right? So one of the main first times was at the Washington Monument, and there was 1 million people there.
Yeah,
and you
it's
get
a
up,
huge
and,
situation.
And wait, you get up.
Yeah, and Jimmy Page is playing guitar.
Oh, my God.
And the guitar player that I knew, Jeffrey Foskett, he gets elected to go teach Jimmy what keys the songs are at.
Uh-huh.
So he brings me along. And we're in this hotel, and we go up to the penthouse suite, and there's anvil cases everywhere. And I thought it was guitars or whatever. He had like whips and devil shit, And
Jimmy did?
Jimmy Page.
Wow.
And so my friend gets off with his roadie somewhere, and my hand got Page looks at me and says, come here. What key is, fun? And I barely play guitar. It's E flat. I can't fucking solo, and he was yelling at me. I was 20 years old. Or something.
Jimmy Page can't play an E flat.
He said he can't solo in E flat because it's a weird, right, Fred?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It is. Why is it weird to solo? I mean, he's Jimmy Page. I mean, Fred, it's weird to solo in E flat.
Well, it's if he tuned it down a half step, he'd probably be okay.
Oh, okay.
And then they were doing Bob Moran in F sharp.
What do you mean Jimmy Page had all that? You mean he was for
I
real?
can't fucking play it. And
But
he
what was all
played,
the devil shit?
I don't know.
Because he was heavy into that stuff, supposedly.
Right. And there was a girl with him that, like, each day she had sort of a new bruise, a new cigarette burn.
Really?
We used to play so we'd ba 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 da ba da 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 da. And
Who knows what was going on?
Who knows? But but anyway, so I'm on stage one of the first times. So I was more afraid playing for the Beach Boys. I wanted to be a good drummer. Carl Wilson, I think, liked my drumming. Now, let me preface this for any hardcore Beach Boy fans on that. I can understand why they would hate me being associated with the band, because if I wasn't
Because you're an
me.
actor and you're pretty, and it's like, why do
Yeah.
you get the privilege of being the Beach Boys drummer?
100%. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I've been more part of the commercial side, not the Brian Wilson side. I admire Brian Wilson so much.
You were
I
part
really
of the
do.
touring, and like it could have been seen as a gimmick. Stamos is our
I put him
drummer.
on Full House.
Right.
But in my heart, and any hardcore Beach Boy fan that doesn't like me can come up talking about, I feel that I did introduce this music to a younger generation when it wasn't being played on the radio.
That's right.
They were watching Full House. Kokomo was on there, went to #1. So I just always wanted to spread their music to younger kids.
In other words, because you were on Full House, if you're their drummer, then the young kids start showing up at the concert, and it brings them to a new audience.
It happened.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. So kids are hearing the music.
So were they shocked
Yeah.
that you could actually play and keep up with them?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but I toured a lot with them. Some years I do 50 dates.
Are there
Yeah.
Beach Boy groupies? Like, I mean, can you get
They're
chicks?
90.
Yeah, that's what I'm
say,
saying.
now?
Are there like 90-year-old women sitting there at the
Well,
concert?
girls would come when I was there, I guess.
Yeah, there'd probably be girls, right? You could get like.
But it's that classic thing where you be playing, there's 20, 30,000 people, and you're standing up there. And you really, for me, which I'm not, you really feel like a rock star because you're standing.
Right.
I play a little guitar and they're screaming.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your hotel like a doofus, and, you know, you're
Yeah,
sitting
but-
in a hotel room.
Yeah, but you guys, how many dates a year were you doing with them for a while?
Sometimes 50.
Wow.
The Howard Stern Show.